he's going through showing him his new mansion. He's got this wine cellar, and here's this guy worth $34 billion, right? And the guy goes, and look, this is my prize bottle. It's $25,000. Of course, what does Sam Walton say? Dude, let's crack it open, man. Let's go. Let's party. And the guy's like, you don't drink this? He goes, why do you have things in life if you're not going to use it and share it, right? That's kind of where I'm at.
That's how I am. What's the point of having a pappy when you're not cracking it open?
And if once in a while something hits you that way, then, hey, you're here. Enjoy it.
Damn straight. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and start now. All right. I'm going to do this real quick. Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Heather Havenwood, and I'm super excited to have you listen today because this is going to be a good one, I promise. Why? Because I have Mark E. Davis on the line, and he is the Unapologetic Man. So if you're a feminist, you're probably going to want to turn this one off. I'm a feminist, but I'm not like that hardcore about it. I really love men, right? So I do. I love men. I love that they're masculine in their own energy. I love that. So I have the stud right here, Mark E. Davis, the Unapologetic Man. Mark.
Wow.
You there?
Thank you on all levels. And if it helps to counter that, I love women too. Does that come across okay?
Yes.
You started it.
Oh my God, do not. You love women. Men should say that. I love women. Why couldn't they not say that? I'm not into the whole movement. Right. I get it. Yeah. I get it. And can I be the Unapologetic Woman today?
Please do.
Can I do that?
Oh, yeah. Look, hey, if we're going for it, we're going for it.
So
hold on for your horses. This show is going to be off the charts, probably not rated for national television broadcast, and we're okay with that.
So Mark E. Davis, the Unapologetic Man, and me, Heather Havenwood, the Unapologetic
Woman. Da-da-da.
Welcome to my show.
I feel welcomed already. This is good.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys who he is because we're doing this show for a couple of reasons. One, he's a client, and we're actually launching his whole new community about men. So this is going to be completely focusing on that and his new mission with that. But I'm first tell you who he is. He is the Unapologetic Man, Mark E. Davis. He's dedicated his life for the past decade helping, educating, and supporting men to find, create, and sustain long-lasting love as the CEO of DreamConnections.com, which I'm going to share with you the story of how I met him, which is super fun. He's now focused on taking his mission and vision to the next level with the Man Card Academy. The mission of the Man Card Academy, this is great, guys, listen up, is to bring the light of the masculinity to penetrate the darkness of the world, helping men to become the best man they can be. And of course, he's creating a community of men that are unapologetically bold, strong, authentic, and awake as men at mancardacademy.com.
Bring it. We're in. Thank you. I hear the crowds roar.
I know. I wish this was like in front of
me. Right? Yeah. Remember those old days, like the old Batman show where the guy would have the sound effects box and press the button? Clap, clap, clap. Yeah, we do something like that. Okay. Thank you, though. I heard the roar.
Welcome. You're welcome. So I just did your first interview where I interviewed about your show, and it's going to be going live here very, very soon. So check it out when you get a chance, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the Man Card Academy on iTunes and Google Play. It's going to be everywhere. You also have a Facebook page. It's going to coming soon. Again, check it out, the Man Card Academy community. All right, but here's what I think is really cool. As you're going to be exploring, discussing real topics for real men on this show, let's kind of take people back. Okay. What have you been doing for the last decade or two, and why in the world are you on this trajectory?
Well, I've been coaching men for a long time, probably over 20 years, and I've been on an amazing quest of my own journey. I've traveled so many parts of the world, and I've observed different cultures of masculinity, what it means to be a man. And you come back to the West, and and the women here from overseas also see guys coming in from the West. And there is almost this is why I use the term. There is almost an apologetic nature to being a man in the West, and it's embarrassing, honestly.
It is embarrassing as a woman when men are like, they're constantly apologizing. For me as a woman, I'm like, be the king who you are. I just had a conversation last night with someone I'd known for a long time, and he's like, he even says like, I've lost my man card. And I'm like, literally had this conversation with, I feel like, kind of like putting energy into him, like, you're a king, you're a man, you're masculine, you need that. And he's like, I don't know how to find that again. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, I'll be introducing you to people. You know what I mean? But I think that there's a huge missing, and we were talking in your interview about how the man card, you had to explain it to you work in Ukraine, you have a business in Ukraine as well. You had to explain it You had to explain that to the Ukraine. Can you tell us more about that? Because it's super interesting to me.
Yeah, well, because listen, the guys there are very comfortable being men. They're very strong about declaring what they want and going after it. And they have other issues in that community. You know, the guys also aren't faithful, and they have alcoholism and other issues. But as far as them being a man, there's just no question. It's not needed. In fact, there's interesting. Here's the thing, Heather, you're going to love this. You can search this. You can Google this. You know how in America we have pickup artists. We have guys who teach dating strategies, right? They don't have that over there. They don't
Really?
No. You know what they have?
What?
Pickup classes for women.
What?
I kid you not.
How to pick up men?
Yes. And subtle things like maybe drop a pencil near one. Maybe he'll pick it up for you. Maybe go ask for directions to get their attention. Because listen, I've seen it over there. You beautiful women walk by and a bunch of guys hanging around. They don't even pay attention because, you know, there's an overabundance of women. They want relationship. Guys don't need relationships. So they're all trying to get a guy who wants relationship. And it's this incredibly difficult environment for women over there to find a guy. It's completely opposite.
Okay.
Have I got your curiosity peaked now?
Yeah, I'm a little like, I don't know what to do with that right now, so I'm just going to pass it. Because that's interesting. Because here's all about the pickup and how to pickup world's like how to get laid.
Yeah.
Right. You and I are part of that community. So that's interesting. Okay. All right. I'm going to move to something though that you and I talked about in our last interview. So I'm going to pull that. But I think it's brilliant. It's in your mission statement. Yep. And when you and I first were building this, because you know your client, we're building this out. When you first said it to me and I wrote it down in the copy, I thought, oh, dude, he really going to say this? Like people are going to kill him.
Flip. Go ahead.
Okay. And here's the word. It's a very interesting word. But then. You know, here we are today, and you explained it, and it was like this beautiful explanation about masculinity, the light of the brilliance of masculinity. So here's the word, penetrate.
Yeah.
And you said men are designed to penetrate their brilliance and magnificency and masculinity in the world. Okay, but I want you to share more. Like,
yes.
Yeah. Go down.
There really is. There's a brilliance to it. And I want to say that first of all, my perspective on masculinity comes from a balance of seeing all different cultures. You know, like I said, I'm not endorsing the culture of the Slavic world or at the same time, I see the contrast here. But what I see is in the balance of a really, truly glorious, healthy masculinity. The model is beautiful. It's the picture of the guy who just walks in the room and he's comfortable with himself. And everybody feels that relaxed energy, and he's almost got this smile on his face, like he knows something, and he's just cool, and nobody else knows, and he doesn't brag about it, doesn't he show off his stuff? You know, he's just there, but when something happens, he's that guy that says, "This guy's cool, he's your best friend, but don't mess with him. Do not mess with him." You know, and it's that place where the masculine will stand up. And here's my definition of healthy masculinity. Really, just of masculinity in general. The purpose of masculinity is for a man to be able to lend his strength to the world around him. And it needs strength.
Say that again. Say that again. That's so sexy, by the way.
The purpose of masculinity is for a man to be able to lend his strength to the world around him. And that can come in so many ways. It can come from a woman who's being badgered at work, and he needs to stand up and defend her and correct a situation. You know, it may come from a situation in a neighborhood or a family where you have to stand in the gap and be there for someone. It may come from somebody who's struggling with a health issue or even sometimes a financial issue, whatever the case may be, where they're going to be the one to stand in the gap, and they're going to come in to say, look, we're going to do something that's right. Sometimes people take it in political senses. I don't, you know, that's an extreme example sometimes, but there's just a sense where I don't hesitate. I don't flinch. When I'm needed, I'm going to be there. And I'm your best friend, but don't mess with me. And I love this phrase. My friend Steve Marks would say, he was a fire captain. He says, I'm just not one to be trifled with. And there's a great presence of that. And what you want to do is, then I say, bringing the beautiful light of masculinity. It's a comfortable place that's not threatening. It's a comfortable place of saying, I know who I am in the world, and I want to help. I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to be your friend, and I want to embrace those who want to do good in the world too. And that light has to penetrate the world. And by that I mean that is that if you can't come into the world and declare your presence, then who are you? If you can't come into the world and declare, I want to do this, and whether it doesn't matter the situation, business, whether it's in dating or whether the guy has to be able to say, this is what I'd really like to do. You know, does that resonate with you? And that to me is,
that's awesome. I want to say I want to kind of state that from a female perspective.
Please do.
Women are attracted to men who know where the F they're going in life.
Yeah. Fact.
That's just a fact. Now, and if you don't, men will, women will come in and try to make that happen.
They will just take over and say,
They'll
look, I got this. I got this. I got this.
I got this. So
take the back seat.
Honestly, women are very attracted and energetically attracted to men who are saying, this is the way I'm going. I might not know how I'm going to get there and I need a partner or I want someone in my life, but this is where I'm headed. That's the attraction. Because if and I always have this visualization, Mark, as a woman, where the man's on a train track and he's like, I'm going this way. And like, I'd love for you to maybe come into my life. And like the woman comes onto his cart, right? Yeah. And she has her own life and she has her own direction, but he can support that direction too. And she can support his direction and not derail one another.
That's correct.
That's the beauty, I think, of that true masculinity, where it's not like, no, it's only my car and you got to get on mine. You know what I mean? It's like, no, we both have these directions and we're paralleling each other and we're going to different directions, but we're also paralleling each other as a masculine and feminine energy. And there's so much power in a beautiful masculine energy and a beautiful feminine energy. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. But I want to have people know about your company you've been
please.
working on for a couple of years now.
Yes.
And that's the CEO of dreamconnections.com. And I want you to explain it. And I'm going to share people how I met you.
No, it's great. I met my wife in Ukraine 11 years ago. I got married and I came back and was tired of this onslaught of people thinking, they prejudged her as being some kind of mail order bride. And it infuriated me. I wrote a book and got on Dr. Phil and the Today Show, all this effort to say, look, real people around the world can connect and make real relationships. But the negative media attention didn't stop. So we ended up forming a company to show we can connect real people. So we don't do any this. We do live events. And what I've learned in over 300 marriages with no divorces, we have learned some amazing things, the way they look at relationships that are very different and very healthy. And I really want to help bring what we've learned about this 26 nation conglomeration of relationship soup that has been so successful. I think they can revolutionize now people everywhere. I've got counseling calls with other people who are married in the same country. And we've just learned some things to think differently. But Dream Connections International is a fantastic place where if somebody in their heart, maybe they traveled and they thought, I'd really like to meet somebody in a different country for marriage specifically. That's all I deal with. We're going to help you have a sincere experience. So it feels controversial to some people until you see it and you go, wow, that's wonderful. It's very tender.
Yeah, I've been watching some of your Primo videos and talking to you and know who you are in the world. And it's not a mail order bride situation. I do think that there's a stigma to it. So move into how I met you.
Tell me.
You and I met at a mastermind, Miss Bratton's mastermind about 2 years ago now in San Diego before Traffic and Conversion Summit. And when Susan, I think it was Susan introduced us, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
That was my automatic. I was like, okay, the mail order bride guy, got it. So, right? And like you and I come from the same circles. Like I knew who you were.
Yeah.
But I didn't know you.
Right.
And so that was my immediate response. Like, okay, that's cool, whatever. And then I think there was a couple times you did some webinars with Susan and some other people in our space. And I really got to I get this. This is really about a guy who's saying, hey, I want to bring together the masculine and feminine energy so strongly that's going to really change lives. And then your numbers about, or is it, give me numbers again, 300?
Oh, a little over now, yeah.
And what's your percentage of divorce rate?
We have no divorces yet among that. And even if I had 5 or 10, it's still a staggeringly successful ratio.
I think right now, America, it's like 60%.
Yeah, so
40%. Good luck out there. So, I mean, it's really an interesting piece. So I love the fact that when we collaborate, it's perfect timing. When we collaborate on the Man Card Academy and we're putting it out there in the world, the community and you educating and helping men and that penetration is really key. And I'm just going to share this from my view for a second.
Yeah.
So as a woman, when you hear the word penetration, it's very kind of like
threatening.
Daunting it is threatening. It's a good word. It's very threatening, right? It's like, you're going to be in my space or you're going to attack my space. It's a very visceral response at the onset.
Correct.
However, as you explained it in the beautiful masculinity and as I'm you're really experiencing that in my life right now. I'm surrounded by you guys that I really love it because it is a penetration. And the penetration, I'm going to say a different word. It's like, I declare this is what I want. That's the penetration. And men today, in my experience, are scared to penetrate. They're scared to say, this is what I want. Declare, this is where I'm going. Penetrate myself into the world. Booyah, go out there. And yet, what are the movies that everyone watches? Marvel, right? Spider-Man, Batman. Those guys penetrate. They penetrate themselves in that space. So what do you think is missing today?
You know, guys have this. Is why I use, and I love the fact that you developed this acronym as the Unapologetic Man, and the show is Unapologetic Masculinity, because guys apologize. They don't want to. They're afraid of rejection, or they're afraid of the stigma that comes with it. And it's like, you know, you're going to get that whether you declare your intentions or not. So you might as well do it. Now, here's the thing: because I have this unique international perspective, I've interviewed over 60 of these ladies overseas one-on-one to say, what are you looking for in a guy? What would you hope a relationship to be like? And they come from all places, all different countries, doctors down, dentists down to, you know, shoe saleswomen. And it's like, and number one answer almost universally in all of them is they want a man with ambition. That's what they say. I want a guy who feels like he's going somewhere in life. And so I coach the guys and I say, listen, there's a part when you go out into the world to meet women, you got to love your life. There's something about you that's got to say, I like who I am, where I'm going. And even if it's just potential, you love your potential, what you're growing into. Because if you don't love your life, don't invite somebody else to join it. This is not a misery loves company thing.
Can I just, like, for a moment, just give you some, like, round of applause on that from every woman in the world right there. That's so true. God. I think it's interesting. How many women did you interview? 1,600?
No. I've interviewed 60 women. We've had over 2,000 we've worked with between, you know.
That's a lot of women there, stud. That's why
it is. And hundreds and hundreds of men. And and trust me, I've seen all aspects of estrogen played different ways around the world. Yeah. But I love the feminine energy. I love the pure. It's the same thing. My God, the same thing. If everybody could be comfortable in their skin, wouldn't it just be a great place? I love to go overseas where so many of the women are more comfortable. They're not trying to fight men. They're not trying to compete. They're not trying to become something they're not. They radiate feminine energy. They just love being women. And because of that, they're comfortable and there's a strength to it. They're not apologetic. So you being the unapologetic woman,
I'm the unapologetic woman.
Be the model, because it's comfortable to be around somebody who's comfortable with themselves.
I think that was an Oprah moment. Oprah moment.
Yeah. I just held this moment. Those listening on the podcast, you missed a great body language with hands in the air, hair flying. It was beautiful.
That was definitely a moment.
The roar of the crowd.
But, you know, honestly, I think my experience, and I haven't told you about this, so we're going to throw something out here. I think the more I tap into my own femininity energy, which I have been more and more recently, like that's why it's no surprising the last 6 months I've had a lot of masculine men around me, which is great. I love it. The more I'm empowering myself into my masculinity, I feel like, this is my experience, that a true masculine man that is connected to his higher self and that is really grounded, there's like a containerness to him. Like he's like this container, like, you know, and like allowing the feminine energy in the space. It's like, that's his job, is to just like allow it and to be. Is that, I mean, that's my experience of it. How in the world do you coach that to men? If men are like, you know, come to you and they're like, I don't know what to do with my life and I don't know how to find it. I know you have a mastermind. You talked about you have 40 men in the mastermind. Talk about that. It's like, how do you help men find ambition? How do you help men go, I know the direction I want to go, when they come to you and go, I'm lost, dude. Like, I'm lost. I don't know what to do.
It comes from three different aspects, and you can do this on your own. You know, guys, you know, listening out there, or women, you can do this on your own if you want to find something, because everybody wants to feel alive. Everybody wants, and they can get it from the feelings of love, emotions, or from doing something that gets them excited, whether it's charitable work or killing it at companies. Everybody just wants to feel alive. This is why the energy drink business is so big. It gives you that false sense of like, woohoo! So how do you create that in your life that just burns as a constant cinder? And it comes from three different ways you develop from yourself, and one of them is being exposed to other people who feel it. Two of it is you have to have positive input in your life. I'm sorry, but optimism rules. And I always say this. Here's one of my memes.
Mm-hmm.
Optimism doesn't change anything, but it changes you, and you change things. And people don't understand the power of that. Let's face it, negativism also doesn't change anything, but it changes you in a way that doesn't help you get what you want.
Okay, let's repeat it because that's a repeatable moment. That's a repeatable moment. Go ahead and say it again.
We'll play some soft music in the background. Optimism doesn't change anything, but it'll change you, and you change things. And it's so true.
So true. It's so true. That's true. Because like you said, the rah-rah stuff, you can go the rah-rah all day long and you're like, rah-rah, and then like it dies off for a week or month or you forget. But when you really can own it, and then it'll change you. Right?
Now you have to, I also believe in this idea that the world in general, and even our negative mindset left alone, is sort of like that escalator that goes down slowly, and you have to keep moving up against it. If you sit still, you don't interact with positive people, you don't put good things in your mind, you will naturally gravitate towards the negative. It's the nature of the world around us. I'm sorry, it's true. Today, even for myself, as much as I do, every morning I start off with one of those 5 to 10 minute YouTube motivational videos. I just listen to it, you can name the author of the world. I probably heard them all at one time, and they have great music behind them. You come away with bigger thoughts. You need to think bigger. So the way to find your mojo, find that energy, and that's another phrase I think we came up with. Guys have lost their mojo. You get that from Austin Powers or something. He's lost his mojo. But to feel that aliveness, whether it's a woman or a man, you have to realize inside your own thought you've reached a plateau. You've done as much as you can with the thinking that's in there. So you have to be exposed to new thinking. It can come from education, it can come from books, it can come from YouTube, it can come from seminars. The other part is the people you spend with, because your life will be a reflection of the average of the top 5 people you spend the most time with.
Right. It's very true.
And so if you want to raise that, you got to raise your standards for yourself.
So you talked about earlier, this is great. This is great. I love the fact you do this for men. I kind of want to be invited because it just sounds fun. But you did talk about the upgrading your life. You're helping men upgrade their life. And I know some people that I think would benefit a lot from coming to that conversation about upgrading. I'm going to share my own story around that.
Go for it, please.
So, it sounds, some people might take it the wrong way on this, right? But I got a new car a couple of years ago. It's 3 years ago. And I could have gotten it, like a used, I don't know, Honda or whatever. I'm like, no, I'm getting Lexus, right? I got a really nice Lexus.
Cool.
I got it used, but it's super, super nice. And I love it. And I feel good in it. Like I feel sexy in it. I feel good in it. And that's a part of the process. It's like, hey, I get in, I feel good. I feel successful. I feel amazing. And I could have gotten probably for the same amount of money, a Honda or whatever, whatever. But I want to feel like I'm surrounding myself with beautiful things. I get myself flowers. Sometimes I ask guys.
Nice.
I recently asked on Facebook. I did. I
saw it. You asked guys, can you send me flowers? I just need some right now.
I had a guy send me flowers. It was totally
so beautiful.
I know. I was like, oh my God, it happened. And within like an hour, and he doesn't live near me. He got my address, and the flowers were literally at my house within an hour or two of me posting that. Talk about how awesome is that? We're now friends, by the way. That was exactly how that happened.
By the way, give me his address. I'll mail him his man card. That was good stuff.
That was for you, Paul. You officially have a man card.
You are.
Okay, let's talk about that. The Man Card Academy. So what exactly, some people might take offense to that. I don't. I think it's great. What exactly does that mean? Like, what are you going to be doing? Like, you're going to be revoking cards? You're going to be like giving cards? What are you going to be doing?
To me, it's a very positive inference in a way. I don't focus on the negative. The nature of it came from it's sort of a legacy, a legend thing in the Western American culture, about this thing, like a guy does something that's beneath him. He doesn't stand up when he should have, or whatever the case may be. And you say, I'm revoking your man card. He dresses in a tutu for something, it's like, come on. But truthfully, there is something where guys are trying to figure it out. They're lost. They're trying to figure out not only their place in the world, what it is to be a man, what's the role model, and how do I find this thing that I'm looking for? And so I am very honored now, having done this a long time. Like you said, we walk in the same circle. So I'm going to be interviewing guys like Dr. Robert Glover, best-selling author of No More Mr. Nice Guy, about helping guys get this people-pleasing syndrome out of them. And I'm mentoring with him right now to be a certified therapist under him. I really care for his teaching that much. I'm very excited about that. Adam Gilad is like one of the world's renowned authorities on the issue of confidence for men. He's my upcoming guest. I personally have taught for 7 years. Every Tuesday I've done a webinar. I have probably 300 hours of teaching I've done. I've got books in the works. And what I want to do is help bring that to guys, but not just for me. I want to then bring experts in there to also talk about them with. You talked about upgrading your lifestyle. Guys, there's something that I've said, and I did, one of my most popular talks was, beauty is an essential to the masculine soul. And guys don't understand this.
Oh, that's so yummy. It's so true.
Well, here's the example, okay? And I got to lay this out, because once I say that, people have this, oh my God moment, their jaws drop. Listen, if you go to on video, you got to catch these on video too, podcasters. We have too much fun. But you go to the example, like I said, of maybe that noble king, as I think is a good role model. And you think kings always had opulent palaces with flowers, musicians, beautiful dancers, rose gardens out the back. And yet he's this powerful king image. Guys, we have to connect with nature. We have to be connected with music. We have to make our office environments beautiful, because if the woman you're pursuing is the only source of beauty in your life, you will be obsessed with her, and you won't be able to have your head on straight, because your dry sponge is going, it's beautiful, I must have it, like that, and you stumble over yourselves. And guys don't understand, so many times in the dating world, this is why they feel awkward around beautiful women, because they've not surrounded themselves with connection to nature, music, beauty, art, and they're working around this environment. So the beautiful woman is just another adornment to a lifestyle they've created for themselves. These are the kind of things we're going to bring to life for guys.
What about their environment and what they're wearing? A lot of guys like, whatever, if they don't like me for who I am, like me because I wear my flannel shirt or whatever. It's like, come on, dude. Can we upgrade some stuff that, that in their environment, their home? Yeah. Why is it so important that they create an environment that works on a beauty level for themselves? Why is that so important for men?
It's critical, and there is that. I wish I could kill that thinking. I really do. This whole thing about, well, they're going to like me for who I am. What does that mean? You're going to walk around naked on the street, and it's like, well, they don't like my body for I am, and the screw 'em. Well, then nobody's going to like you. I mean, there's a part of social projection of who you are is stated in everything you do. What's that saying that says what you do in little things is what you what you do in one thing is what you are in everything. And so they look at this and go, wow, if he's sloppy here, he's probably sloppy everywhere. And they'll translate that to even in bed. I mean, so it's like
women will.
Women will.
We totally do that.
If you're dirty and you have dirty nails, long nails, are going, ooh, he's probably smelly and not attractive everywhere. And so there's a part of where it says, too, in your business environment, you come together, put together, you're going to get better promotions, you're going to get looked at. It's worth money to you. Not only that, and my Ukrainian wife, 11 years ago, did a remake project. She said, I used to dress like a grandpa. And honestly, if you look at pictures of me 11 years ago and today, you'd think my pictures today are the younger guy.
I've seen them.
Yeah, we got a witness here.
We're not doing that. So yeah, no, I get it. I think I don't even know.
Them. I'm embarrassed. I thought I got rid of all those pictures.
No, I've seen them. We're not going to post those out there. So again, this is Marky Davis, the Unapologetic Man and the Unapologetic Woman of that looked like hell. I'm so glad your wife was. But men need to be willing. I know my experience, and I'm not going to name names, but there's some people I'm like, what are you wearing that for? How do you see that?
Okay, listen.
That doesn't fit a king. Why are you wearing that? Fashion. It's not about fashion necessarily. It's about putting yourself together. I'm gonna have an unapologetic moment here. Oh, let's do this.
Yeah. Guys, knock it freaking off. You look like shit, okay? God, don't wear dirty pants, dirty jeans, dirty blue jeans, and this thinking you're going like, it's like you're working in the backyard all day, and this is the way you walk around all the time. God, pull it together, man. It's like, listen, it doesn't take that much longer to throw yourself in a 5-minute shower, put on something clean, and walk out the door looking like.
It's not even something clean. It's like, what are they wearing?
Yeah, it's true too.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
everybody. No, and you're right. One of the biggest
iron
YouTube
shirts
channels
and
there is these guys who teach men fashion, right?
no plaid. Please, no plaid. No. You
Unless
guys
you're the guy
know
who
it.
did that
Like,
what was that commercial for the underarm deodorant? The guy who the black guy was so handsome he pulled the plaid shirt off and this kind of thing.
right. No,
But the point
yes,
was he took it off, right? So
he
yeah,
did take it
no
off.
no
Thank
plaid
God.
shirts. So
Yeah, okay. I know. Anyway, it's not, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I'm not dissing men on any level. I just think that women are, here's what I would say.
mhm.
Men, if you're listening, which I hope you are, we need you. We need your brilliance in the world.
Mhm.
We need you to be all the masculine that you can be and be the
Mhm.
king that you are. Because when you are, it gives us the opportunity to be a
Mhm.
feminine. We talked about this. Was it John Peterson? Was his name?
Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson. We talked about him, and you actually introduced me to him, and he talks a
Mhm.
lot about that and how my one statement that I kind of picked from it is that women are someone dissed on him and said, "What are you saying? Women aren't happy when they're the dominating one in the relationship?" And he was saying no, and the reason is, and I wanted to pipe and go, "No, we're not." Even though it might sound cool at the time, like, yeah, I'm dominating and I'm in control of the relationship, feels really good. That's cool for like a year. You know what I mean? Maybe 6 months, and then it's like, I don't have a partner. I have a wimp
Tiring.
as a partner. Yeah, and it's like, come on, let's do something. It's about the masculine, feminine. That's why yin and yang is like this. It's like yin and yang, yin and yang. It's got to be that conversation
Okay,
piece.
let me pass this by you. I want
Yeah.
your opinion on this. One of the things in my relationship book on the international is I talk about the three aspects of a masculine heart and the three aspects of a feminine heart.
Ooh, this is great. Go for it.
So the three core desires of a man's heart is he needs an adventure to live, a battle to fight, and a beauty to rescue. Now, how you define that, I get into, but here's the ones of the feminine heart. I want to see if you relate to this. First of all, she wants to feel pursued.
Yeah, I call it I want you to want me.
Yeah. Yes.
Energy that women are walking around saying, I want you to want me. That's why they put the makeup on it. Blah, blah, blah. I want you to want me. It's an energetic feminine energy.
And I always tell the guys are like, guys are listening, I'm going to give you some free dating advice right now, okay? If you want to know how to make a woman feel pursued, understand this. It's like there's a message you're sending. It's like, of all the women on the planet, whatever there is about you has captivated me. In this moment, I've got to get to know you. I'm stopping my world. I'm putting everything aside. You fascinate me. I have got to get to know you better. Having fascination and curiosity about a woman that is insatiable is dearly attractive. It's because it says, of everybody in the world, you have captivated my attention. I got to get to know you. If you can project that energy in the presence of a woman, it warms her up so much that you just can't imagine. And it's not that hard, guys. Just be insatiably curious about her in a healthy way. That's wonderful. In a healthy way, it's delicious.
It's asking questions. It's being interested. It's captivating. It's asking, how are you? What's going on in your world?
And who are you? Why do you do that? Why would you like that? Really? You got to tell me more. I got to spend more time with you. We got to get together. And she'll go, okay.
Oh my gosh. Are you sure you're married? Because that was awesome.
Well, the second thing is, I've helped all these guys get married, so that's part of the deal.
I can see why, because that alone is so much that women don't get that today. Mm. It's more the opposite, right? Which is, this is where I'm going. If you don't like it, I don't care, or whatever. It's definitely like, be curious.
It's that wannabe mafia boss thing. Hey, you want to hang out with me? It's and
it's just horrible.
All right, so the second one's the one I want to ask you about, though, because this is the one I find even deeper truth for women. Is she wants to be an invaluable part of an adventure bigger than herself. She wants to find a partner in life where the two of them create something where without her, he can't make it. She wants to be that integral into his life where he says, we need to do this together. I'm not going to make it. And she wants to be that tied into their mutual life adventure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, my mom taught me to find a partner in life. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And my sister and I both like that. And I'm not married. So haven't found them.
That's fine.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that
Look,
men are not taught to say, "Hey, I need you here."
you're right.
There's they're like, you sit in the background, oh, thanks for your help. It's like, no, I need you. Like, I can't do what you do, and you can't. Like, it's like a partnership.
It's a king and queen where they're both got swords drawn back to back, going, "Okay, where do we go? Where do we take them down?" Right?
Yeah, because I'm a freaking queen and I'm looking for a king. And a lot of men either A, are not comfortable with that, or B, they're not comfortable with their own kingness or whatever, or they're not kings. And then, or they have to like, well, I have to have all of the, admiration. I can't share that with you. And the masculine men shares that. If you look at a lion, I love looking at lion, lioness, like that whole dynamic of a lion, like a freaking lion, dude. Like,
right.
But if you watch, submits to the lioness. Like, there is such a submission to that, not like a submission, like what you're thinking. It's a yin and yang. He knows when to go out and be the king of the jungle. Hello. And he knows when to say, you are my queen. Like, you could see it and how a king and a lioness work together in nature. They're not saying anything.
Right. So and he cares for her. He tends to her. He says, "You're my tender. You're my one.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. I want to care for you. I want you to know that you're special, that you're precious, and you're protected."
So that's right. Is that number 2? Because
that is number 2. That I think that, and it's a different relationship. Let me give you an example. It gets past this insecurity guys have that she might make more money than him. It's irrelevant. And let me explain why. When I brought my wife home from Ukraine, I had this big ass computer company. As $5.5 million a year. I was making a couple $100,000 in our own pocket. And I had this big house, 5,000 square foot house on a gated, brand new community and all this stuff, right? Jaguar had it all. 7 investment properties. Of course, the '08 crash happens 2 years after we're married. And in the course of 2 years, everything was gone. And it filed the bankruptcy. And, me and everybody else in the world. Had we known, right, we would have done things differently, and that's okay. I was devastated, and she was like, "Babe, what are you talking about? Money comes and goes. We have each other." And here's what she said to me. She goes, "Babe, listen, my mother was telling me, hey, they're hiring over at the airport for security, screeners." She wanted me to be on the Homeland Security team there, which I'm nothing against that. But my wife was like, "Babe, listen, you're an entrepreneur. Don't go just taking an hourly job. I want you to go find your next business. Go create it. Let me for a while be the one to go. I'll get a job." And she got up at 1:00 in the morning and worked at a union bakery to help put us together and put food on the table and pay for our rent while I'm figuring out our next business. And I wasn't insecure about that. We both had a goal of what we wanted our life to be like. Okay, so right now you do this, I do that. But the point is, we're together in this life to create this vision of what we wanted. And there's no roles assigned to that. There's a beauty of it. I mean, she's looking to me going like, I want you to go find your next thing and lead. And then I know
what she saw in you was a king.
Yeah.
And she knew that just because this, your current business winner doesn't mean that you're not a king still.
Right.
You just got to go create your next thing. Right. And I think a really powerful, confident woman can see that in a man when a man's like, you are a king. You might not feel like it right now. Maybe you've been kind of in the dirt for a while, but like who you are as a king. Right. And I think that when a man gets that kind of admiration from a feminine space, they're like, I am.
They can conquer the world. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's time for them to be like, yeah, how did you see me? I'm all covered in dirt right now. You're like, right. I can smell a king. I don't know what to tell you. I can smell, I can also smell not kings.
Not king.
So, and, not king. All right, moving on. Like Mark Zuckerberg. Sorry, Mark Zuckerberg, you are not a king. I am not a fan. Thank you for Facebook. I appreciate you. And Mark Zuckerberg, you are not a king. Okay. So, but like Steve Jobs, king, right?
Totally. Give me some other ones that you like. Who else is king?
What's your brand? So we talked about that.
Yeah,
I didn't really see. You were talking about earlier in another podcast that you saw Microsoft guy as a king.
Oh, I just met him in person one time, Bill Gates. I met him, and even though what my point was with Bill Gates is that even though he's an introverted personality, you can still carry yourself with a calm confidence. So he doesn't. He was happy. He was at a bar with his wife, and he had no security around him. And he was just being cool. And yeah, for Bill Gates, he's at a bar near Palm Springs with his wife, just at the bar having a drink. The two of them sitting there, they were laughing and smiling. And here's a guy just didn't, and it was almost like he didn't have a care in the world. And so I want to say that this whole thing about being a king isn't a type A personality thing.
No, it's not.
That's my point. That's my point.
Yeah. It's not type A personality. It's an energy to it.
Thank you.
it's
Thank
an
you.
energy to it of like, I know where I'm going in life and I know what I'm creating,
Yes.
and not a having to force it. It's
Right.
more like I'm just the king. And
That's
there's,
why.
I think it's kind of benevolent king. You know, it's like, I
Yeah.
think there's a level of being a king. You are responsible for a lot. You know, it's not for everybody. I'm not saying, and being a queen, you're responsible for a lot. But in the side of being a benevolent king,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had conversations with men recently that are like, I'm clear when I see them that there's a lot of people that are leaning on him, you know, are leaning on the king. And when the king doesn't feel powerful, those people leaning on him for providing, for time, for whatever, he feels drained.
Yes.
Versus feeling like a king, and
Power.
he has his kingdom, like it's good, right? And it takes something. And I think honestly, there is a yin and yang to that.
Mm-hmm.
Can men? I've said this in other interviews.
Sure.
I'll
Go
share
for
it with you. I think that we will never, in my lifetime at least, will ever have a man or woman presidency that is single. So we'll never have a single man president.
I understand what you're
Never
saying.
have
Yeah.
a single woman president.
President, right.
Why?
Single person.
I think if you look at like Ronald Reagan, Nancy was that freaking driver, dude. George Bush, you know, the first one.
Barbara
was the freaking bomb. You have to there's a yin and yang there, that they come into power together. The president's probably the man in those cases.
The power couple.
However, Reagan would have been nothing but Miss Nancy. Right. You know what I mean? Barbara, she ran that show. So people don't understand that. And I think as a society, we see
Hillary.
that power, other than Hillary, yeah. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. So we see that power, you know, and we that's what we're voting in. I just think that's important. That's why a lot of I think we'll have a woman president in our life.
Okay. So I have to ask you, because guys don't believe this, women don't believe this, but I think you're very honest to your core. You're the unapologetic woman. So as an unapologetic woman, I'm going to throw something out to you that I got from another woman.
Okay.
Dr. Annie Lala. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
I do know Dr. Annie Lala.
I love Annie Lala. Okay, by the way. She has this description she did on a podcast I heard, and she was talking about one of the things that resonates with women is she's telling the guys, the women will fall in love as much for your ambition and your goals as they will with you, because they want to find something they can attach themselves to that they can help you with. That when you're down, she's the trampoline for your dreams. And when you're, she goes, no, honey, this is your dream. You have to do this. In today's culture, that's blasphemy. But tell me how true that is to your soul.
Oh, true. Yeah, because if not, there's nothing to engage in. There's nothing to empower him in. If he doesn't know where he's going, there's nothing to empower. There's nothing to say, hey, you can do this. I believe in you. I support you. Think of Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill talks about it. Talks about that behind, you know, and again, this was in the 60s and 50s. And so women listening. I believe that behind every great man, there is a great woman, but I also believe that next to a great man is next to every great man is a great woman.
A great woman.
I don't think it has to be behind her, all that crap. I think that I'm a great woman and I'm looking for the man next to me. I don't think it has to be behind or forward. I think a great relationship is like, you're in front now, I'm in front now, we're by side to each other. I don't think
irrelevant.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. It's like behind whatever. I think that's irrelevant. So I agree with you. I like the word trampoline. If not, I mean, I can just imagine right now, I've seen, not in my situation, I haven't had it, but where men have no place to go. So there's a woman's a driver. Most women are they drive towards something. That's why they're good with the kids. Like the kids are, you know, the children are like, okay, let's focus on your homework. Let's focus on this, whatever, helping them with their aspirations and goals. That's why most Olympians will say like, and I just want to like say thank you to my mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just drivers. So if women doesn't have something to like nurture and care and grow, it's like plants. Like, I got to grow you. Where are we going? You know what I mean? I think it's up to the man to say, this is where I want to go, whatever that looks like. But it's also up to the woman to not lose herself in him. It's her job to say, hey, this is what I want. These are my goals. This is what I want to create. And I'm choosing myself first, because I know that when I am strong in my femininity, then you can be strong in your masculine. This is not me just sucking on you. You know what I mean? This is about me stepping into my own feminine energy, my own goddess energy as well.
I love it. Now, no, let me balance that out, because I wanted to get the other side. We've been talking about the man this whole time, and you know, because it's the man card. But let me tell you where that comes for the woman's benefit and how this turns around. A good man wants to dote on his woman. He wants to pour in his woman. He wants to protect her. He wants to give to her. He wants to see her light up. He wants to say when she has a desire, he jumps in and says, well, honey, I want to help you. What do you want to do? My wife has tried so many things in her life, and I've supported every one of them. You know, she's gone to she's currently into salsa dancing. She's on a dance team right now with a group here. And you know, I'm not an insecure guy. I understand what that means, but for her, it makes her happy, and it's a joy. She's also been in home remodeling. So she'll go repaint this room and she'll add little touches to it. And she's an interior design beauty queen. Everything she touches is more beautiful. She wants to go to something in the backyard. It becomes better. She wants to train dogs. She's become a dog trainer for people, you know, and every time she goes, here's the next thing I want to do. And I'm like, well, honey, go. I want to support you. I want you to experience the world, and you're my sweet. And I want her to feel tenderness. I want her to feel love. I want to bring her the flowers because to watch her face light up, like, oh my gosh. And she puts on Facebook, look, my husband got me this, you know, and so it's kind of like one of these things where if you understand, if the feminine can understand without the proper relationship is not competitive. You know, you're just there to be together. And if anything, the word that describes the couples I've helped is they're comfortable. They're just so comfortable together, and they pour into each other. And so, you know, ladies, don't think that because you want to find a guy with ambition that you're going to spend your life just supporting his and you know, energies. I'm teaching men to be the kind of guy where they want to pour themselves into a woman, and they want her to feel radiantly loved. They want her to feel like every aspect that oozes from her being is beautiful, and they're just captivated by it. And so she feels tenderly loved the whole time. She feels like everything she does nurtures his soul, and he's grateful for it. And at the same time, that only comes out in a mutually caring, tender, free environment that's able to do that without each side going like, well, what do you want? I don't know, why'd you do that? Well, then, okay, then you owe me this. It kills it, you know, and so it's hard to get to that place, but I wish it for everyone.
That's a really good place. Okay, we're going to wrap it up because we've been here for a while. Good. And we can be here forever.
I want to go back and listen to this again. This is good.
This is good. This is good right? It's good shit. All right. So everyone, who I'm talking to is Marky Davis, the Unapologetic Man. And today I'm Heather Havenwood, the Unapologetic Woman.
Yes, you are.
Ta-da! And you can go check them out at mancardacademy.com. mancardacademy.com. Make sure you check that out because it really is really, really awesome. And you can also check out his new podcast called Man Card Academy on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you listen to podcasts. And, of course, his Facebook page. So this is awesome. We could talk forever. We could totally crazy.
We really could. So it's
really
okay.
Good. It's okay. All right, everyone. This is Heather Havenwood. Check me out at heatherhavenwood.com. And I will see you next time.
You will. Thanks, Heather.
Thanks.